Welcome back to Rad City Resin. Spooky season is officially in full swing here in Rad City, so this week I decided it was time to start making spooky jewelry fit for the raddest witch. I bought these spooky ice molds from Joann's back in August, I think, and I'm excited to finally use them. Because these are opaque and they are also kind of deep, I knew I was going to need to use epoxy resin for this particular project. UV resin will not cure in a mold like this. I started by coloring in the wells with some brightly colored mica powder. This particular powder is actually a chrome powder for your nails, but it works perfectly for this kind of project. I really love this bright magenta, kind of like, it kind of looks like homicidal Barbie sort of effect. I also did the same with a little bit of holographic mica powder as well. I knew I was going to mix up a decent sized batch of epoxy, so I went ahead and painted in quite a few of these mold wells. I did the same thing with the other mold, but that's for another project. I used to work with epoxy resin exclusively back when I first got into resin, but because I mostly just enjoy making jewelry, UV resin was actually a really easy transition. I had this sampler set of resin from a Michael's resin kit from a few years ago, and you can see the hardener kind of turned yellow. I knew I was planning to use color for these pieces, so the yellow tint was fine, but this does happen with cheaper resins and it does happen over time, so always read the reviews before buying. And really good resin companies will have examples of, things that have cured for a year, 2 years, so on and so forth, so you can kind of see what will happen if you keep it around for a long time. This resin is a 2-part epoxy resin, which is a 1-to-1 ratio. That means that you're going to mix equal amounts of each. You always want to double check the instructions to see whether your resin should be mixed with equal parts by weight or by volume. If it's by volume, it's best to measure using a measuring cup with easy to see measurements. If it's by weight, it's best to do this using a scale. I listed all of the tools and products I used in this project down below in the description. Take a look, and while you're there, hit subscribe. I have so many more spooky projects for this year, I don't want you to miss any of them. I used my scale to measure out an ounce of each part. I also added a few drops of purple alcohol ink in to counteract the yellow tint. I didn't necessarily want purple resin, but I used color theory to try to lessen that yellow. The purple will kind of cancel out the yellow. I mixed my resin in this little collapsible cup, which made it super easy to pour into the molds and later super easy to clean up. I covered my mold with a canvas to keep any dust or dog hair from settling into the resin, and then I let it cure for about 20 hours. After that time, I demolded them, and I have to say they are so cute. I will also say this resin was not great quality because they were still extremely soft to the touch. Even days later, they're still soft. They're not mushy, but they're definitely bendable. I used my deburring tool to clean up the edges, just taking off all of the sharp edges so that I'd have a nice clean finish. I added in a few jump rings, beads, and earring hooks to turn them into chunky, fun, spooky babe earrings. Next up, I had this vision of little Pac-Man style ghosts, and I knew a great way to do this would be to use my UV nail builder gel to bring this vision to life. This stuff loves to stick to rubber gloves, so I used my silicone finger covers instead, that way I wouldn't, accidentally create a huge mess. I scooped out about a nickel-sized ball, then flattened it on my silicone pad. I then used some pearly white mica powder and a tiny touch of purple chameleon powder. I dumped it directly onto the UV gel and then folded it in. Listen, you just have to fold it in. Just fold it in. If you get that reference, let me know in the comments because we're going to be best friends. Once I was happy with the color, I split the gel into 2 equal parts, then rolled them both into a ball. I put the ball on the tip of my thumb, then slowly pressed around and down on each side, creating the shape of my ghost. I used a dotting tool to create a scalloped edge along the bottom, then pressed in 2 little divots for the eyes. Once I was happy with the shape, I took the silicone cover off my finger, then set it aside. I did the same thing with the second ball of UV gel, again smoothing it out to be thin but not letting it tear. Once I was happy with this one, I took the silicone cover off my finger, then I cured both shapes for 3 full minutes, making sure to cure from the underside as well. Now you can make these as long or as short as you prefer, just to use a little more or a little less gel. You could also use other shapes to create the molds. So like if you had a rounded paintbrush or a spatula, that would work perfectly. It would, if you want skinnier or fatter ones, you just, choose whatever tool you've got that you can work with. So I added paint into the eye divots to give them a little bit of personality. It's funny how just these little dots create just this look of surprise on their face. Finally, I used a thumbtack to push a hole into the very top of the shape. I added an eye pin, then connected an earring hook. And oh my God, these are so freaking cute. I feel like these would be just as cute as part of like a charm bracelet or on like a choker or something. They would be just so cute. I think I'm going to make a batch of these for an upcoming yard sale that my neighborhood is having. I think people would be really into them. My final project for this week is a necklace, and personally, it's my favorite out of the bunch. You won't believe how simple it is. I started out with some copper wire, and I folded the wire in half and used my jeweler's pliers to create some swirly loops at the top. I then twisted the wire into a spiral to create a core for my piece. This makes the structure nice and solid. I took another wire, bent it in half, then wrapped it around the core. And here's where you can use your creative license. I'm going to use the second set of wire to create swirls and swoops and spirals around that core. And I'm not focusing on trying to make it perfect because I can always go in and trim away any excess wire or use my pliers to tighten it in places where I didn't get those perfect swoops. And I just trimmed away any excess and then I set that piece aside. Next up, I took a square of iridescent cellophane out of my little scrap bag, then wrapped it around the tip of a glue stick. I mean, you could use anything for that depending on how wide you want this to be, but I wanted to make sure that I could create a hole to push that was big enough to push my wire piece into. So this is what I used. I held it very tightly, then dipped just the very tip of it into some UV resin. I basically just needed the resin to kind of hold the cellophane into that shape, so I cured it for about 45 seconds. I used a clay tool to create a hole in the resin wide enough for me to slide my copper wire piece into, and I know this looks like some sort of weird tutu right now, but just stick with me here. I used some super thin 24 gauge wire to secure the cellophane around the copper wire piece. Now don't worry about having a little excess of your cellophane up at the top. We can clear that away once it's done. Once again, I took my cup of UV resin, then I dipped the cellophane side of my piece directly into the cup. Now this is the hardest part of the project. I pulled the piece out and then I let the excess resin drip off my piece. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. This takes a while, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't force off any of the resin so that there wouldn't be any weird uneven sections. I wanted this to kind of cure in a solid piece, so I just let it drip until it was done, and then finally I cured this for about 3 minutes until the whole structure was solid. I dipped it in again, once again letting it drip until it stopped, and then I cured again for another 3 minutes. As a final touch, I wrapped a bit of copper around the thin silver wire to hide that wire and also to make it look like a little broomstick. Oh my gosh, is this not the cutest little broomstick you've ever seen? I added a bit of chain to turn it into a necklace, and I swear, if I had a flying broomstick that looked like this, I would be traveling all over the city with it. It's so cool. I hope you had fun with these projects. Again, all the supplies I used will be listed down below, so go make something awesome this week, and as always, stay rad and stay spooky. If you liked these projects, be sure to check out my Spooky Babe playlist. I'm sure you'll find something else just as spooky and fun.